We're ready.
Hi, I'm Double speaking.
And I'm Fairy Cake.
And this is the Most Cakes review of the third episode of Candy Bar Girls, which is Channel 5's reality show about lesbians in London.
Yes.
This show is really boring.
It's really dull and we don't know what to say. Like I think we got halfway through this show and we were just kind of like, oh, if you have an interesting show that's dramatic, you kind of have to make people look like characters and therefore push the editing and push their negative or positive sides and make heroes and villains out of the show. And if you don't have that, which we don't have with Candy Bar Girls, I think you're actually getting kind of like quite a semi-realistic look at these girls and who they are, but you sacrifice any kind of tension or interest at all.
The biggest revelation that I've had from this show is that I can drink wine with a straw. And it works out.
Can I have some wine?
Do you want the bottle?
Yeah, right then.
I don't think this show is bad, necessarily. I don't think it's good either. But I just think that it's really boring. It's just, every so often there'll be like a second's worth of notable content, but then it's not really worth it to watch the whole show for random gems.
I don't know, like I'd like to say at this point that I think part of the problem is that they haven't chosen enough hideous people. Actually, most of the cast seem like quite amiable people, and they don't.
I disagree.
No?
Sorry, I just had to
okay.
throw that in there.
Like I don't want to hang out with all of them, but
I don't want to hang out with any of them.
Okay, alright.
That's harsh. I take it back.
No, now we're going to go through the characters.
Danny, would you hang out with her?
Yeah. By
Actually,
hang out, I mean like, you know, try and grow. We did see her nice side. We saw her kind of more friendly, like sociable, getting her boobies outside, which I thought was good, although obviously, you know, I'm always campaigning for more tits, but yeah. No, it's true though.
I actually think that we saw much. I don't think that we've really seen much of Danny's character in the past couple of episodes, but in this episode, she just seemed to kind of develop a character, and it was nice. It was nice to see her friendly. It was nice to see that she's such a good flatmate. It was nice to see that she's a, you know, like she seems like quite a good friend.
Mm. And what she did for Natalie was like super, super nice.
Yeah, maybe in the previous episodes I wouldn't have wanted to hang out with Danny, but in this episode, yeah, I would have.
Yeah, I feel the same. And I love Natalie. I think she's awesome.
The twins.
Yeah, they're so lovely and they're super pretty, which obviously doesn't, you know, like I shouldn't make me like them more. But it does a little bit. But Natalie's really lovely, really sweet, very genuine, quite funny, and just kind of like down to earth. Obviously, reality TV bods anywhere are always trying to sort of squeeze the most controversial, horrible shit out of people, and I think it would have been really hard to edit her as anything but a nice person. She just seemed like nice. The twin dynamic was really fascinating. Like I could have quite happily watched them for an hour, I think, because they just seem like bondy.
I just kind of like that sisterly relationship. I'm really close to my sister. We're not twins and she's not gay, but it's nice to see that kind of family bond. It was cute. I also like that Natalie didn't like cats, cause like I don't hate cats, but I'm really allergic to them.
Are you really allergic?
Really allergic.
I'm really allergic too.
Danny, I have to hand it to you, because that's a smooth move, you know, invite someone over to view his flat that looks like a tip, and then just get them drunk.
Yeah.
Good one.
No.
I also love how I actually really like that wall of lesbian laws. I thought that was
This is no. The only law we saw was don't sleep with men, which is probably, like, if they need telling, then they're not gay. It's kind of how it works, you know.
I need telling all the time. Sometimes I forget.
Like, no,
like,
I've seen her sleep with that man over
No.
there, because they're so amazing. She just can't control herself. You also really good bit of voiceover there where she sort of said, I think it's wicked, and the voiceover went, really?
She did exit the house and go, I love mental shit, and I just wrote down, oh, okay then.
Alex.
I think everybody knows by now what I think of the Alex character. Also, she talks in this episode about how she like made a habit of getting kicked out or barred from one bar after another, and it's like, is that really something that you want to announce on national TV, that you're so badly behaved in public spaces that they refuse to let you come into them again?
I mean, obviously the program's trying to paint her as a wild child, and I'm sure that she doesn't fit as many of the stereotypes as they're showing her to fit, but there was a bit with the whole bar where she was... Basically, they bring a manager in to manage them, and I don't understand how in any job you would ever act that insolently about that happening. She was like, you know, like, said she was going to smash the camera, and not only did that seem a little bit extreme, but it also made me, like, I actually, as you'll know from the other videos, I kind of started to like Alex, and I thought, yeah, she's a bit of a party animal, but at least she's interesting to watch. But this time round, although she's still interesting to watch, it's not for the right reasons. Is it Lisu? I can't work out what her name is because no one said it really clearly yet. She's very pretty and very nice, but the way they dealt with the new management...
She's not nice.
Kind of...
Like, if you have a job, you know what time you're supposed to show up for work.
But at least she apologised.
If I showed up to work 10 minutes late, then... and said, well, I didn't know what time I was supposed to come in, I'd get fired.
Yeah.
And understandably, I deserve to.
At the end of the show, she did actually say, oh, well, maybe Sam's right, and maybe, you know, she was right to have a go at us for getting in late. And I was kind of like, okay, good, character turnaround.
I liked Sam, the bar manager.
She's going to have such fucking trouble.
I thought she was great. I thought she was, I mean, I really liked that. I just don't have time for people who fuck around and take the piss and just kind of don't take themselves seriously when they need to.
I also think that it's illustrative of how little drama there is, that they had to make such a really big thing of the whole thing with Alex and Lee, you know, because actually that probably only took up a very small amount of time and like wasn't an issue, and they all kind of came round to the end, but actually they made it look like a really big problem. And it's just a repeat thing where we've seen issues that aren't really issues being like dragged out over the course of 45 minutes, which is just a little bit exhausting to watch sometimes, because really, you know, like, fuck, it's a speed dating night, what's going to go wrong? Nothing's going to blow up, you're going to be fine, and at the end of the day everyone's going to go home with all their limbs, so like, chill out a bit.
Fingers crossed.
Should we talk about Chantel and Chrissy?
I just don't even know sometimes.
Meeting your fucking mum after 3 fucking weeks? You look a mega lesbian! Why does this whole urge to merge thing, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to jeopardise your relationship by, like, you know, bearing everything in the first day? It's just, God, it's so insane. It's so insane. Like, I don't know even like, if I know what I've slept with somebody within 3 weeks' time, let alone, like, took them home to meet my mom, who's generally scared of gay people anyway, so that probably wouldn't work very well.
You wait 3 weeks to sleep with people?
Like, sometimes. What?
That's impressive. The point is that nobody in their right mind takes their girlfriend back to meet their parents after 3 weeks. Like,
the tension though in that scene.
Unless you've already knocked them up, kind of hard with lesbians, or you're married, kind of hard with lesbians.
Well, I'm also in 3 weeks.
Well, what happens if you get drunk and get married?
Does that happen? It only happens in Friends.
In Vegas.
Okay.
What's the British equivalent of Vegas?
Croydon?
I wouldn't take somebody back to meet my parents unless we've been dating at least 6 months.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, it's funny, the interesting things about the character arcs, and I say characters in a really loose way, aren't the things that are explored. I would love to hear more about the family.
They never really go into the things that I'd want to hear more about. Instead, we see more crap.
Okay, cool. So Joe and Leisha.
I actually missed this part on the phone.
I don't really have, to be honest, I don't really have much to say about them other than that they seem kind of nice.
No,
all I've got written down here, and the whole thing, is totally saw Joe's bum crack. So,
in closing, I just think that at this point I'm longing for Shabby to come back on the screen, and I think that's just indicative of how bored I am.
I'm not convinced by the success of the relaunch with Candy Bar at this point at all with the show. Like, you know, you don't see a lot of the...
I went the other day. But I was really scared because I thought somebody would smack me or throw a drink on me.
Really?
Because we slag off the show because it's terrible. But really, I kind of got really nervous, so I like stood outside having a cigarette with a friend for ages, and then I dashed in, and then I was like, you get the drinks, and I just like ran upstairs and sat on the couch, read a magazine.
And then also, I wanted to say, I read your comments, better hair than you. So like, I tried really hard today to make myself look slightly more socially acceptable. I hope that you think it's all right, because I would hate to be letting the fans down. Not that you're a fan.
Or are you?
I think you're technically a hater, actually.
Whatever.
Like,
so, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this episode?
Probably. I mean, I'd probably straddle between a 3 and a 4.
3.
3, really.
So 3.5.
3.5.
3. Maybe next.
If you're watching, like, seriously, just shake some shit up. Just release a gorilla into Candy Bar or something. Like, try finding.
I've seen gorillas in Candy Bar before.
Okay, yeah, no, real gorillas.
Real gorillas.
Real gorillas.
No.
In Candy Bar.
Real gorillas. Okay. Okay. So
some fucking surreal Dali dream you had. Sorry.
No. I mean, they were real gorillas.
They were real gorillas. Knuckle dragging hairy specimens.
Men? No. Joking.
Okay.
Okay. So this has been Devil's Food Cake.
And I will still be Fairy Cake.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.